Hello and welcome back to Fallonits. It is just me today, and I need to have an argument, not with you, with a voice in my head. The one that shows up every time I try to do something brave. The one that says, "Who do you think you are? You are going to fail. Everyone will laugh. You are not smart enough, not talented enough, not good enough." You know that voice. It lives in your head too, rent-free, and it talks way too much. Today, I am going to teach you how to argue with that voice, how to cross-examine it like a lawyer, how to expose its lies and win the case. I am going to give you an actual script, a script you can use word for word the next time your limiting beliefs try to stop you from living your life. But first, let me tell you about the time I lost the argument. Really lost. I was 21. I had an opportunity to speak on a stage, a real stage, in front of maybe 200 people. It was a tiny event, nothing fancy. But to me, it was a Super Bowl. And my inner critic showed up with a megaphone. You cannot speak in public. You will freeze. Your voice will shake. You will forget everything. People will see you sweat. They will laugh. They will post videos of your failure online. You are not a speaker. You are not confident. You are a fraud. And I believed it. I believed every word. I turned down the opportunity. I made up an excuse. I said I was busy. I was not busy. I was scared. I was defeated by a voice in my own head. That was the last time I let that voice win. Because after that, I learned how to argue back. And today, I am going to teach you the same skills. So let me introduce you to the courtroom method. Imagine you're a lawyer. Your limiting belief is the prosecutor. It is making a case against you. It says you cannot do the thing. You are not good enough. You will fail. Your job is to be the defense attorney. Your job is to cross-examine that belief, to question its evidence, to expose its logical flaws, to prove that it is not the truth. It is just an opinion, a scared opinion. And you get to make the final verdict, not the voice. You. Here is the script. I am going to give you 5 questions to ask your limiting beliefs every single time they show up. Write these down. Memorize them. Put them on your wall. Use them like a weapon. Question 1. What is the actual evidence of this belief? Not feelings. Evidence. Hard facts. The prosecutor says you are not good enough. You ask, "Show me the proof." What actual, measurable, objective evidence do you have? The prosecutor will say things like, "Well, you failed once before. That is evidence." One data point. You ask, "Is one failure proof that I will fail forever?" No, that is not evidence. That is a story. The prosecutor will say, "You feel scared." You ask, "Is feeling scared evidence that something is dangerous?" No. People feel scared before job interviews and roller coasters and first dates. Fear is not evidence. Fear is just a feeling. So ask for the evidence. Most limiting beliefs have almost none. They are built on feelings, memories, and things other people said once. That is not a court case. That is gossip. So demand evidence and watch the belief crumble. Question 2. Is this belief helpful? Even if the belief were true, which it probably is not, does believing it help you? Does telling yourself you are not good enough make you try harder? No, it makes you give up. Does telling yourself you will fail make you prepare better? No, it makes you not prepare at all. Does telling yourself people are judging you make you more likable? No, it makes you awkward and quiet. So ask yourself, is this belief serving me or is it hurting me? If it is hurting you, you have permission to fire it. Even if it were true, which again, it is not, you do not have to keep a belief that makes your life worse. You can choose a different belief. One that helps you. One that says, "I am learning. I am trying. I am growing." That belief helps. Keep that one. Fire the other one. Question 3. What would I tell a friend who believed this? This is the kindness test. Your best friend comes to you and says, "I am not good enough to apply for that job." What do you say to them? You say, "Of course you are good enough. You have done similar things before. You are smart. You work hard. You deserve to try." You would never say, "Yeah, you are right. You are terrible. Do not even bother." You would be kind. You would be encouraging. You would point out their strengths. So, why do you not say those same things to yourself? because you are meaner to yourself than you would ever be to a friend. That is not fair. That is not logical. So treat yourself like a friend. Say the kind words out loud, even if you do not believe them yet. Your brain will catch up. Question 4. What is the worst that could happen? And can I survive it? Limiting beliefs love to imagine catastrophes. So let's imagine them on purpose. What is the worst thing that could happen if you try? You fail. You look silly. Someone laughs. That is it. That is the worst. No one dies. No one goes to jail. The world does not end. And can you survive that? Yes. You have survived embarrassment before. You have survived failure before. You are still here. The worst case scenario is almost always survivable. And once you realize that, the fear loses its power. You ask, so what if I fail? So what if someone laughs? So what? You will be fine. You will learn. You will try again. The worst case is not that bad. And the best case? The best case is amazing. You succeed. You grow. You prove the voice wrong. So compare the worst case to the best case. The math is obvious. Try. Question 5. What is one small action I can take despite this belief? This is the most important question, because beliefs change through action, not through thinking. You cannot argue your way into confidence. You act your way into confidence. So ask yourself, what is one tiny thing I can do right now that the limiting belief says I cannot do? Apply for one job. Write one paragraph. Send one message. Speak one sentence. Just one. Do it while still believing the lie. Do it scared. Do it badly. Just do it, because action is the antidote to fear. And every time you act despite the belief gets weaker. It loses its power. You prove to your brain that the belief is wrong, not through logic, through evidence. Your action is evidence. So take the action, even a tiny one. That is how you win. Now, let me walk you through a real example. A full courtroom debate using this script. Let us say the limiting belief is, I am not smart enough to go to college, or to finish my degree, or to change my career. Whatever the version is for you. The belief says you are not smart enough. You will fail. You will waste your time and money. Here is how you argue back. Prosecutor, you are not smart enough for college. Defense, what is the actual evidence for that belief? Prosecutor, you got a C in math in high school. Defense, one grade in one subject is not evidence that I am not smart enough for an entire degree. Also, intelligence is not fixed. I can learn. I can get help. I can study harder. What else? Prosecutor, you feel overwhelmed when you think about college. Defense, feeling overwhelmed is not evidence of inability. It is evidence that the task is new and big. That is normal. Is there any actual evidence that I lack the basic intelligence to pass college courses? Prosecutor, well, no, but you might fail. Defense, might fail is not the same as will fail. Everyone might fail. That is not evidence. Next question. Is this belief helpful? Does believing I am not smart enough help me study? No. It makes me not want to try. Does it help me apply to schools? No. It stops me from applying. So this belief is not helpful. It is harmful. I am firing it. Next question. What would I tell a friend who believed this? I would tell my friend that they are absolutely smart enough. That grades do not define intelligence. That college is about effort, not natural talent. That they can get tutors and support. I would believe in them. So I will believe in myself the same way. Next question. What is the worst that could happen? I could fail out of college. That would be expensive and embarrassing. Can I survive that? Yes. People fail out of college and go on to have great lives. I could transfer. I could try again. I could learn a trade. The worst case is not death. It is discomfort. I can handle discomfort. Next question. What is one small action I can take despite this belief? I can research one college program today. Just look at the website. That is it. I do not have to apply. I do not have to commit. Just look. I will do that right now. Verdict. The belief is not supported by evidence. It is not helpful. It is based on fear, not facts. I reject this belief. I choose to believe instead that I am capable of learning and growing. I will take the small action today. Case closed. That is the script. That is how you argue with your own brain. Practice it. Every time a limiting belief shows up, run it through the 5 questions. You will get faster. You will get better. And over time, the beliefs will show up less often because your brain will learn that you are not an easy target. You fight back. You argue. You win. Let me give you more examples of common limiting beliefs and how to argue with them. Limiting belief. I am too old to start something new. Argument. What is the evidence? I am older than some people. That is not evidence that I cannot start. People start new careers at 40, 50, 60. Age is not a barrier. Effort is. Is this belief helpful? No. It makes me give up before I try. That is not helpful. What would I tell a friend? I would tell them it is never too late. I would cheer them on. So I will cheer myself on. Worst case? I try and it does not work out. I am still older but now with more experience. That is fine. Small action? Spend 10 minutes researching how to start. Do it. Limiting belief. I am not a people person. I will never be good at networking. Argument. What is the evidence? I felt awkward at the last 3 parties. That is evidence that I felt awkward, not evidence that I cannot learn social skills. Social skills are skills. Skills can be learned. Is this belief helpful? No. It stops me from even trying to connect with people. That is isolating. What would I tell a friend? I would say everyone feels awkward sometimes. It gets easier with practice. You are not broken. Worst case? I say something awkward and someone thinks I am weird. So what? Weird people have friends too. Small action? Say hello to one person tomorrow. Just hello. That is it. Limiting belief. I have tried before and failed. So trying again is stupid. Argument. What is the evidence? I failed once. That is evidence that the last attempt did not work. It is not evidence that all future attempts will fail. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before the light bulb. Failure is data. Is this belief helpful? No. It keeps me stuck. It prevents me from learning from my failure. What would I tell a friend? I would say, so you failed. What did you learn? Try again with that new knowledge. Worst case? I fail again. Then I have more data. That is not loss. That is learning. Small action? Identify one thing I learned from the last failure. Write it down. Then plan one different approach this time. Limiting belief. People are judging me. Everyone is watching. Argument. What is the evidence? I feel self-conscious. That is a feeling, not evidence. Has anyone actually said they are judging me? No. Most people are too busy worrying about themselves to notice me. That is psychology. It is called the spotlight effect. We overestimate how much people notice us. Is this belief helpful? No. It makes me anxious and performative. It stops me from being myself. What would I tell a friend? I would say, no one is watching as closely as you think. They're all in their own heads. Relax. Be yourself. Worst case? Someone does judge me. So what? Their judgment does not define me. They're not the boss of my life. Small action? Do one thing I have been avoiding because of judgment. Post a photo. Wear the outfit. Say the thing. Do it scared. Now I want to talk about why this works. Because it is not just positive thinking. It is not just saying affirmations in the mirror. That stuff is fine but shallow. This works because you're using logic to dismantle emotion. Your limiting beliefs live in the emotional part of your brain, the amygdala, the fear center. That part of your brain does not respond to positive affirmations. It responds to evidence. It responds to questions. When you ask yourself, what is the evidence? You activate your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain. And when the logical part is active, the emotional part calms down. You cannot be terrified and curious at the same time. So the questions are not just rhetorical. They are neurological tools. They literally change which part of your brain is in charge. That is why this script works. It is not magic. It is neuroscience. Let me give you a bonus tool. I call it the belief scale. When a limiting belief shows up, rate it on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 means I do not believe this at all. 10 means I absolutely believe this. Then run the 5 questions. then rate the belief again. You will almost always see the number drop from an 8 to a 5, from a 7 to a 3. That is progress. You do not need to go from 10 to 0 in one session. Just drop a few points. Then take the small action. Then rate it again tomorrow. Over time, the belief will lose its power. You will look back and wonder how you ever believed such nonsense. I want to share a personal victory. A time I used this script and won big. I had a limiting belief that said, you cannot make videos alone. You need a co-host. You are not interesting enough to hold attention by yourself. You will be boring. People will click away. I believed that for months. It stopped me from starting this channel. Then I used the script. What is the evidence? I have no evidence that I am boring alone. I have never tried. The belief is based on fear, not facts. Is this belief helpful? No. It is stopping me from creating. What would I tell a friend? I would tell him to try. Even bad videos teach you something. Worst case, I make a bad video. A few people see it. The world does not end. Small action? Film one video. Just me, talking. No co-host. I did it. It was terrible. The audio was bad. The lighting was worse. I posted it anyway. And you know what? People watched. Not millions, but some. And they commented. And they asked for more. That terrible first video was the best thing I ever made because it broke the belief. Now I make videos alone all the time. This one is alone. And you are still here. That is proof. The belief was a lie. And I proved it wrong by acting. So here's the thing. Your limiting beliefs are not your friends. They are not protecting you. They are not keeping you safe. They are keeping you small. They are keeping you stuck. They are keeping you in a cage that you built yourself. And you have the key. The key is the script. The key is asking the questions. The key is taking the action. You do not have to believe me. Try it. Next time the voice says you cannot do something, use the script. Argue back. Cross-examine the belief. Prove it wrong. Then take one small action. Just one. See what happens. I promise you, the voice will get quieter. And you will get louder. And one day, you will not even hear the voice anymore. Or you will hear it and laugh. Because you know it is full of nonsense. And you have better things to do than argue with a liar. Here is your challenge from Falonets. After this video ends, do not scroll away. Write down one limiting belief you have. Just one. The one that holds you back the most. Now, run it through the 5 questions. Write down your answers. Then take one small action today. One tiny thing that the belief says you cannot do. Do it scared. Do it badly. Just do it. Then come back tomorrow and do it again. That is how you win, not by thinking, by doing. The script gives you the courage. The action gives you the proof. You have both now. Use them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me argue with my own brain in front of you. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs to win an argument with their own head. They are fighting a battle every day. Give them this weapon. And hey, if you are watching this and you are currently believing something stupid about yourself, stop. Just for a second. Ask yourself, what if that belief is wrong? What if you are actually capable? What if you are actually enough? You will never know unless you try. So, try. That is not a command. That is an invitation to your own life. Take it. This is Falonets signing off. Argue with your lies. Act on your truth. See you in the next one.